Hi, this is Dave Zwang with What They Think. And with me is Brett Farrow, who is the Executive Vice President of Xitron. And Brett, good to see you again.
Good to see you, Dave.
So Brett, Xitron I know has been around for ages. Well, at least it seems that way, because I remember back in the day when you needed a rip, it was basically the navigator. If you
Mhm.
needed to be able to get to any kind of a CTP device, it was Raster Blaster. I mean,
Mhm.
so that there were things that you guys had, or pieces and parts that you had for years. And as a result, I guess you have a pretty big install base.
I guess you could say pretty big. It's surpassed 45,000.
Okay, so that's pretty big. Yeah.
It's pretty big.
And I know that the Xitron, well, excuse me, the Navigator RIP was fair. It evolved over time, and I know you added additional workflow components to it over time and hot folder stuff, etc. But now you've moved into a whole new era with a new product.
Yeah.
So talk to me about it.
We started on it a couple of years ago. We sort of looked at the offset market and all of the workflows that were out there and popular for so many years. And we all know their names. But we noticed that there wasn't a whole lot of advancement going on. They were keeping up with operating system changes, but in terms of adding features or improvements, that had sort of waned as developers started paying attention to other things in the industry, which happens. We understand that. But we looked at it and thought, there's still a lot of offset out there and a lot of need for really good workflows at decent prices. And when we looked at that, we said, okay, I think we need to put some development on this. And lo and behold, we came up with something we think is pretty fantastic.
Got the business model. Talk to me a little bit about the application itself. What's it called? What have you added beyond just the conventional RIP technology, which you already had?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's K2 is the name of the new workflow. And where it differs is we always had that Harlequin core, but to put a developmental effort together for the rest of what is required in a prepress workflow was not something that would be easy for a small set of engineers. When hybrid software picked us up 3 or 4 years ago, we discovered really a treasure trove of technology that we could tap into without having to apply direct development to those functions. We were able to basically plumb in technology from global graphics with the Harlequin RIP IntelliTrap, or what we call IntelliTrap, which is PDF-based trapping that came directly from hybrid software, and color management capability through ColorLogic, who is also a sister company. All of these companies are part of the hybrid software umbrella. And then the final tile, if you will, was imposition, which we managed to put in just here in the last year or so. And that is what we introduced to everybody at Drupa. It's been 2 months now.
So at this point, you've got a pretty significant workflow, a complete workflow. Many would argue. I mean, you've got ripping, trapping, color management, and output. I'm sure you should be able to connect that. Since you have been doing it for years, you should be able to connect to just about any CTP device that's out there, I would think.
That's pretty much it. We've always been CTP agnostic. We've always given people the capability of, if they wanted to keep a particular plate setter, we could provide the ripper workflow. If somebody had a different ripper workflow and needed to drive a different plate setter, maybe they had a Prinergy or something like that, and they wanted to drive a screen CTP. We were the company to do that because we have that interface module, that raster blaster that you talked about, that allows people to pick and choose. So yes, with our K2, we can pretty much drive any plate setter that's out there on the market.
So, all right. So, if I look at the market, and I'm in and out of print shops all the time, and I kind of have a fairly good understanding of the market itself. It's a very much a connected. We're moving into connected workflows where it's not just an offset press. There's digital presses. There's wide format presses. There's all these other things that ultimately need to be de-siloed, if that's a word.
Yeah,
And
I'll
and
take it.
And do you have the ability to be able to interconnect all these things? I mean, you have APIs, et cetera.
APIs, of course, but it's even simpler than that a lot of times. Because we can output raster PDF format from the same workflow, and using the imposition structure that we have built in to the integrated imposition, we can redirect those files anywhere they need to go. So if it's wide format, we can go there. If it's digital, we can go there.
Okay. It almost sounds too good to be true. Let me see. Where do you see it going from here? I mean, do you have is this it? I mean, because I know hybrid software has very much been had their focus on packaging. That's been
Mhm.
the heart of their, and this is more of a commercial play. Um, do you see more of that? What they've got, like for example, um, their pipeline workflow.
Cloudflow.
Cloudflow, right? Is that part of this? Do you see the integration with that? Is that something that looks like is a value in the future?
There is, and there is value, prescient of you. It's actually built, part of Cloudflow is built into this system as well, and we can advance that further. But in terms of moving it more into a hybrid space, we've done a couple of things with our Flexo suite that we put together a few years ago, and that can move into that area. As far as this goes, what we'll be trying to do is concentrate more heavily on the offset side because that's where Xitron lives. But what we'll do to expand is work more on the job submission side. Obviously, we need to be able to expand into MIS communication. We want to make sure that wherever jobs are coming in from, they can get into the workflow easily, and that's where a lot of those I'll call them Cloudflow bits will come into play.
Yeah. I mean, onboarding is a big is probably one of the biggest issues that most service providers have. It's
Hmm.
getting things in, not just through one pipeline or one channel, through many channels. I go into money plants, they have multiple web to print solutions. They have multiple they have FTP, they have, the stuff's coming, through many different orifices, if you will.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
um, so can you manage all that as it comes in?
We can. We have a pretty darn good product manager in charge of this project, and he came from a couple of the other bigger companies that we've dealt with over the years. And this was his primary focus is the job submission side of it. The engineers had the rest of it already in play because of the research and development that we've done over the past couple of years. But in the last month, or excuse me, last year or so, the concentration has been on this job submission side. This is the component that you'll see at Printing United next month. We had just a small part of it at Drupa because it wasn't ready for prime time. But this release that you'll see at Printing United will include all of those bits. And again, we're pretty excited.
You should be. Well, I look forward to seeing you at Printing United and seeing kind of K2 in full operation. Couldn't really do it at Drupa just because I didn't have the time at Drupa, but I will promise to spend time with you at the booth at Printing United.
It'll be good. I think you'll be pleased. I think you'll be impressed. The response that we got at that show was unlike anything that I had ever experienced in all my time with Xitron, and so everybody here is really looking forward to this next chapter and getting it out to the world.
Sounds great. Brett, thanks so much, and I guess we'll see you soon.
Sounds good. Be about a month.
In about a month, yeah.
All right. Take care, Dave.
Take care.